Hello everyone, welcome to some Dark Souls Remastered. I am your humble host, Fox, and we are going to do a very casual playthrough of Dark Souls. I'm going to do hour-long episodes so you can sit back, relax, maybe even take a nap. Let's get into it, shall we? Now, I have played through this game several times, so this is gonna be fairly tame, so don't expect any crazy YouTuber reactions or anything. And I'm going to play as my favorite way to play. I'm gonna go a little bit of sorcerer, but we're not gonna rely solely on our magic. Once we get enough, we are going to be utilizing a rapier and stick to magic only for our boss fights. I don't know why I prefer that way, but just kind of do. Anywho, gotta have the purple hair. Yep, that'll have to do. You know what? Actually, instead of going with the female, let us do the classic male look. Have to go swept-back hair, change it to dark brown, and last but not least, make the homie look like Ryan Reynolds. Alright, here we go.
In the age of ancients, the world was unformed, shrouded by fog. A land of grey crags, arch trees, and everlasting dragons. But then there was fire, and with fire came disparity. Heat and cold, life and death. And of course, light and dark. Then from the dark, they came and found the souls of lords within the flame. The first of the dead. The Witch of Izalith and her daughters of Chaos. Gwyn, the Lord of Sunlight, and his faithful knights. And the furtive pygmy, so easily forgotten. With the strength of lords, they challenged the dragons. Gwyn's mighty bullets peeled apart their stone skins. The witches weaved great firestorms. Nito unleashed a miasma of death and disease. Seath, the Scaleless, betrayed his own, and the dragons were no more. Thus began the Age of Fire. But soon the flames will fade, and only dark will remain. Even now, there are only embers, and man sees not light, but only endless nights. And amongst the living are seen carriers of the accursed dark sign. Yes, indeed. The dark sign brands the undead. And in this land, the undead are corralled and led to the north. Where they are locked away to await the end of the world. This is your fate.
Alright, welcome to the Undead Asylum. This is going to be, like I said, a relatively tamed playthrough, not a whole lot of crazy excitement, because my intention as a player these days is to give you something to relax to. You don't need to be constantly absorbing massive doses of stimuli. So if I can give you something to just kind of kick back and relax to, then I say I'm doing a pretty good job in meeting my goals. I don't expect my tone to really shift too much from where we're currently at. It should be, like I said, relatively low and easy. Majority of the sound effects you're going to experience that will be loud will be coming from the video game itself. So I'd say find a nice volume balance and get ready to take a nice, easy, relaxing rest. Let the games begin. Bonfire lit. Oh man, look out. I got a leather shield, better run. Oh man. Okay, sorry. And if you're wondering if we're going to do any kind of lore dumps or anything like that, I'd like to say yes, I'm going to take a few minutes at the beginning of some of the episodes, and we'll read some of the iconic pieces of gear that come out to kind of give you a better idea of what's happening in the world if you don't already know, as Dark Souls is a fairly old game, but we'll at least explain some things, because I'm sure there's still viewers out there that haven't got a slight clue of what's going on. Right? So, this is Oscar of Astaris. He is the individual that saved us with that body and key, as you saw earlier in the video clip.
Oh, you. You're no hollow. Thank goodness. I'm done for, I'm afraid. I'll die soon, then lose my sanity. I wish to ask something of you. You and I, we're both undead. Hear me out, will you? Regrettably, I have failed in my mission, but perhaps you can keep the torch lit. There is an old saying in my family, "Thou who art undead art chosen, and thine exodus from the undead asylum maketh pilgrimage to the land of ancient lords. When thou ringeth the bell of awakening, the fate of the undead thou shalt know." Well, now you know. And I can die with hope in my heart. Oh, one more thing. Here, take this. An Estus flask. An undead favorite. Oh, and this. Now I must bid farewell. I would hate to harm you after death. So go now, and thank you.
So our friend was dying, so he killed himself. The thing about Dark Souls' world, the more you die, the more of your sanity and humanity you lose, until you eventually become full hollow, a mindless husk. That's why he wanted you to flee before he ended himself, because he knew he was on the cusp of becoming a husk. Oh man, got the Sorcerer Catalyst. I will inform you now, the chimes and noise effect that comes from magic can be slightly loud and obnoxious. So anytime you see me coming up on a fog door, you may wish to possibly turn your volume down. I will definitely give you a heads up that it is a boss fight or not, to give you that opportunity to turn the volume down. So here we go, our first boss fight. Victory achieved. And one chunky monkey down. So what is humanity? Well, let us find out. A rare tiny black sprite found on corpses, used to gain 1 humanity and restore a large amount of HP. This black sprite is called humanity, but little is known about its true nature. If the soul is the source of all life, then what distinguishes the humanity we hold within ourselves? So to pull away from the cryptic side of it, humanity is what actually allows us to turn full human and shake away our undead, jerky-like exterior. This also allows us to summon companions and even fight other players. There are a few NPC invaders that do occur in this game, but they're far and few between, and I will try to, at least when I remember, to fight as many of them as I can, just for completionist's sake. But, so with that being said, there is one other detail that humanity does serve in this game, which is our item discovery. If you'll see on the far right, item discovery is currently set to 100. It can max out at 210 without any special items, which is a grand total of 10 humanity, which is the 00 number at the top left of my screen. So, helps us find additional rarer,
Only
more rare items.
in the ancient legends it is stated that one day an undead shall be chosen. To leave the undead asylum in pilgrimage to the land of the ancient lords. Lordran.
Ah, home sweet home, Firelink Shrine. This is the crestfallen warrior. He is the first guy you should always talk to if you have no idea what's going on with this game, and he will give you a very vague understanding of what you need to do to figure out.
Well, what do we have here? You must be a new arrival. Let me guess. Fate of the undead, right? Well, you're not the first. But there's no salvation here. You'd have done better to rot in the undead asylum. But too late now. Well, since you're here, let me help you out. There are, actually, 2 bells of awakening. One's up above in the undead church. The other is far, far below, in the ruins at the base of Blight Town. Ring them both, and something happens. Brilliant, right? Not much to go on, but I have a feeling that won't stop you. So, off you go. It is why you came, isn't it? To this accursed land of the undead?
Well, there you have it. So there's a bit of a misconception right out the gate. We have now learned that there's actually 2 bells, not just one, like Oscar had said. Unfortunately for Oscar, he never even made it out of the asylum once. So he would have never had a chance to know that his family's prophecy was incorrect. We're going to do some basic wandering around real quick to grab a couple of key items at the very beginning to kind of bolster our stats right out the gate. Not by a whole lot, but just enough to get some of the basic things to really get this playthrough taking off. So I'm going to grab a couple of soul bank items. I'm going to go down below, use our master key that we started with from the beginning to open up a little key door, if you will, to get a quick 1500 XP off of some chunky baddies and a couple of more soul bank items, and hopefully buy ourselves 2 spells and eventually a rapier and a little metal shield that's relatively light so we can maintain our lightweight but still have the ability to block 100% physical damage when we need to. Because we are going to be using a rapier, after all, as a primary source of damage. So, quick thing to cover before we go any further. Bonfires, as you can see, rest at a bonfire, is basically your checkpoints. The last bonfire you rest at when you die will be the bonfire you revert to. Anytime you sit at a bonfire or die, all the enemies in that area will respawn, and you lose all your souls and humanity until you reclaim them. However, if you die again, you lose it completely. You cannot recover it. There are a few bonfires that have fire keepers, such as this one here. Their primary role is to just sit there and maintain that bonfire and make sure it never goes out. It is directly linked to their life force. So if they die, the bonfire dies. So we're gonna head down this elevator from Firelink Shrine into the New Londo Ruins, which not a great place to accidentally find yourself if you're not really sure where you're going. For down in there are ghosts, and unless you utilize a specific item, which we'll cover way down the road, you can't kill them, but they can definitely mess you up. But anyway, so we're gonna take a quick visit to the magic smith and buy ourselves a couple of spells to really bolster our arsenal for early fighting. We wanted those soul bank items down for down here specifically. So I don't think I grabbed enough yet. I think I need 6,000 souls. Yeah. But I can at least buy one. So he just introduces himself as Ricket. He talks a lot of nonsense.
What is it?
And I apologize for zipping through. I'll be better about that.
Oh no. Don't worry. I've no intention of escaping. It's safe here. Can't bear the thought of going hollow out there. Although, I must admit, not much to occupy myself. How about this? I could forge your weapons, albeit with rather minimal tools. I'll show you what made me the best inventor. Come back soon. Smith, don't let me wither away out of idle.
Alright. So we're going to take this side path here to grab a couple of other additional items. This large soul here. Take a quick little jaunt down this way. Say hello to our little zombie dragon friend. Those two items are a trap. If you grab them, it revitalizes the zombie dragon. And 9 times out of 10, unless you really are good at what you're doing in this game, you will die trying to escape from it. I have no intention of utilizing those items, so I'm not even going to bother with them for the time being. I just wanted the soul bank item. And no, don't worry. That will not be the last we see of him. We will come back and kill him, just for the completionist's sake. In time. Quick stop in here. Kill ourselves a couple of chunky monkeys for an easy 1500 XP. Come along, thickums. butt stab. Make sure another thickums isn't coming behind us. Hoya! I can keep this up all day, my chubby friend. And we got some poop. Literally, it's actually poop. Does have a wonderful little effect, being able to throw it at an enemy. Unfortunately, it will build up toxin on you and him, or your enemies, I should say. So, it's good in a pinch when you really need a little extra oomph. But make sure you have a blooming purple moss, which we'll cover later. Oh, look at that. We got more poop. Yay. Oh, grrr. So angry. And I guess I'd be pretty angry too if my buddies just got messed up by a dude with a dagger and a funny hat. Woo, we got a third pile of poop. So tasty. Num num num. Anyway, so we got a pretty good start up here. So we're gonna use one more soul bank item. Should be good enough with just this to get us to 4,000. There we go. So we can now buy the additional spell from our Vinheim Smith. I almost said smelter, but that's incorrect. So Smith, our magic smith. And what do I mean by magic smith? He is the blacksmith that actually can enchant your weapons with magic. And it is going to be something that we deal with regularly with him, because in time, due to our build, we are going to make sure we capitalize on that.
Hello. What weapons have you brought? Go on, show me.
See, we don't have a weapon for Ascension yet, so we can't really do anything. Eventually, we'll be able to reinforce our weapons through here, but we're going to do that to a rapier later down the road. But for now, we're just here for this. And if you ever didn't start as a sorcerer, you can buy a catalyst for him.
Come back soon. Smithing helps soothe my nerves. Don't let me wither away out of idleness.
Alright. Burn a couple of quick spells here just to get some XP. Alright, so we're going to use our last soul bank item to give us hopefully 2 levels. Oh yeah, 2 levels. So we'll put our 1 point in dexterity so we can use the rapier later. And then we're going to add another point to attunement to increase ourselves to 4 spell slots. And give ourselves a point in endurance just so we can increase our carry weight just a little bit. So, attunement, obviously, as you see, is your spell slots. So going from 15 to 16 gives me 4. The rapier we plan on using requires 7 strength and 12 dexterity. Intelligence is going to be our primary magic stat boost. So pretty much from here on out, I will only be doing intelligence. And you know what, in fact, I'm actually going to drop it off of the endurance and put it into intelligence to start increasing our damage with spells. So, here we go. I figured I would use one before now to kind of let the Estus Flask be a self-fulfilling, describer, but it is basically our healing item. So, every time we take a moment to sip, our Estus Flask will heal a portion of our health. You can increase their potency by utilizing Firekeeper Souls, which obviously is a double-edged blade because, well, they're linked to bonfires, essentially. So, anyway, let us continue on the way. And I will at least inform you that, yes, this one has been a bit expositional dumpy, but future ones will be probably a bit more quiet, with far less communication, and just allowing you to observe the game in peace. As we, explore more of the game. I just don't want to leave you without any kind of understanding of what we're getting into. Alright, while we have a nice little quiet moment with some running water, let us take a gander at the ring we just acquired. Ring of Sacrifice. Lose nothing upon death, but ring breaks. So it's a one-time use, glorious little ring that when you die, instead of losing your humanity, your human state, and all your souls, it'll go with you to the bonfire. So, this mystical ring was created in a sacrificial rite of Velka, the goddess of sin. Its wearer will lose nothing upon death, but the ring itself breaks. As you can see, the world is very, very three-dimensional. You have to always be on the lookout for little secret and hidden paths. And also, definitely watch your back, because there are always ambushes waiting for you in this game. Well, it took us a bit, but we'll finally use our first Estus. So here you go. Oh, it does leave you very much open for any kind of enemy attack, so you have to be kind of careful about when you choose to use that, because they will absolutely capitalize on that. Because you never know when a bunch of jerks will ambush you. Say hello to the kite dragon. A lot of us just call him Pinky. As you can see, the enemies do absolutely have and use Estus flasks. So it's not just as simple as chip away until they die, because they will heal out. Heal out. There we go. Sorry. This little wooden shield. Bonk, and bonk, and bonk, and bonk. So as I said before, you definitely want to keep your eyes open. There are a lot of player messages out there which are super helpful, down ahead as you can see, because there's a secret path hidden all these boxes, leading us to a shopkeeper, where we are going to buy our shield and our rapier from. Got one more soul bank item to use, which will put us over the top that we need.
Well now, you seem to have your wits about you, hmm? Then you are a welcome customer. I trade for souls. Everything's for sale.
Definitely a little on the creepy side, but for the most part, he's innocent. So what we came here for is this item here, the rapier, and this little item here, the heater shield. So, got our primary two pieces of work, if you will, and we need 300 more souls for the residence key, because we
Thank you
definitely want that
kindly.
as well. Now, most players will just kill him because it's easier that way, and they don't really have much of a use from outside of the basics. But I like to keep him alive, mostly because I don't feel like a monster most days. Ooh, I have a couple more soul bank items I can use, so we're going to use 2 more. Put us over that 1,000 soul limit.
I hope you've brought plenty of soul.
So we can buy that residence key. Voila. So we're good to go. Give us some lore dump, Mr. Merchant Man.
Things are getting treacherous in these parts. A horrible goat demon has moved in below. And up above, there's that humongous drake and a bull demon too. If you stick around this place, it might end up being your grave. Oh, thank you very much. Come back soon.
So, being on your first time playing through, it's very handy to know that you've got 2 bosses ahead of you that you wouldn't normally know until you accidentally stumbled across them. It at least gives you a brief moment of insight on them. Not that it really does you any good, because you don't know what you're up against, but you at least know they got some 2 ugly messes to deal with. Ungard. Baha. Alright. Here is one more representation of, glorious people letting you know of things going on and secret paths to leap for. Alley-oop. So we weren't able to access this earlier because those stairs were damaged. And this game is really good about wrapping the map in and in and in over itself. So, come down these stairs, go back through. Here's that little mini fog door we were just through earlier. Back to Pinky's introduction. And we are going to go sit at this bonfire to make it our new checkpoint. We're also going to go human and buff it up 1 for burning humanity like this allows us to reinforce bonfires, giving us more than the standard 5 Estus flasks that we would normally get. So I'm going to sit here, and you're going to notice that my Estus flasks will not recharge to level 10 because we have not reinforced this bonfire. So we use 2 humanity because we have to first use 1 to reverse our hauling, to complete our transformation into Ryan Reynolds. Da-da-da-da. And then we use the other one to kindle our bonfire and make it so we can have 10 Estus from this bonfire. And last but not least, we're going to attune the other 2 spells that we bought from our Vinheim Smith earlier. So we are fully loaded and ready to roll. And with that, gives us the ability to truly start our playthrough of Dark Souls. With that, I think we'll stop here. It's been a pretty good opening for us. This will give us a chance to start off nice and easy with our next episode, where it will be a lot more quiet, less talking, to just allow us to play through the game. Y'all have yourselves a wonderful night, and we'll see you again soon.